Joining me now, director Kimberly Peirce, who is making her feature film debut, and the film star Hilary Swank. I am pleased to have them here to talk about this, as I said, much discussed film. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
Tell me about the film, and then we'll talk about the response to the film. But what's the story here, and why are you so? Why did you decide this was a story worth putting on film?
Sure. You know, I was always interested in women who had passed as men, who were like pirates and adventurers, sailors, like kind of throughout time. And I was writing a script on another person who passed as a man, and I probed into it and found out that this woman actually was doing it to survive. And I was more interested in stories of identity. So I picked up the Village Voice in April of 1994, and I just read this extraordinary story, you know, the life and death of Brandon Teena. And that's the story of a girl who dressed up as a boy and went out, you know, asked girls out, basically was looking for love and acceptance and found it. And it came to a tragic end, but kind of in the course of it, she as a boy ended up finding kind of her deeper, truer sense of herself.
What is it about that kind of story that you think makes it so compelling for you?
I fell in love with Brandon. I mean, here was a girl, you know, living in a trailer park, didn't have much money, didn't have any role models. She took the most enormous imaginative leap that, like, a person can take. You know, put a cowboy hat on, put a sock in her pants, went out, you know, and lived her dream. Started asking girls out. I mean, really, went, you know, found love on the terms that she...
But my question is that you were looking for a story like that.
Yeah.
You know, about a woman who wanted to pass as a man. What is it about that that's so interesting to you?
I probably, on the deepest level, you know, I was a tomboy as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing all kinds of things which seem natural to you. You're swinging from trees, breaking conch shells open with baseball bats, and, you know, somebody says, you know, start acting like a girl. And you just say, well, what's that? You know?
Why do you think this has resonated with an audience so that there's so much talk about it and such a sort of critical appreciation?
My feeling is that it's a story that everyone can relate to. And I think that people are finding something within Brandon that's within themselves. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, you know, he's transgendered or he's gay, you know, but you're not. So what did you find within Brandon to be able to play and relate to? And for me, that was Brandon was someone who followed his dream, who had the courage to really be himself and to not conform to what society wanted him or her to be. And that's an inspiration to me. And I hope that I can live my life as fully as Brandon lived his life in his 21 years. And, you know, having the courage to be myself.
Willing to take chances to be yourself.
That's right.
What's the hardest thing about putting that character on the screen?
I think the hardest thing for me was I've always really thought about being honest to the story and telling a story that Brandon would be proud of. And it's hard, you know, when you're just doing a story that is just made up and just fiction. It's, you know, you have a lot of leeway and you have a lot of creativity. But with this movie, you know, these are real people and this was someone's life. And so you feel a really strong just pull to be able to do it honestly. And so that wasn't the hard, I mean, it wasn't hard to do that. It was just, it took a lot of effort to do the research and to do the work and to actually pass as a boy. Because when I got this role, I didn't want to do it unless I could pass as a boy. So part of our work, the transformation process for me, was 4 weeks of living my life as a boy.
Did you know you could do it? Or you had to find out?
I had to find out. I mean,
what are you smiling for again?
I'm smiling because it took 3 years to find her.
Actually, when she was talking, the thing that popped in my mind was, how hard was it to find the right?
Oh, near impossible. There was no guarantee that the world was going to give us another version of Brandon. We needed a girl who could pass as much on screen as Brandon passed, and a girl who had the charisma that Brandon had to open people up. And I looked at probably 1,000 girls over 3 years, and nobody had it. I looked at, you know, butch lesbians and transsexuals who in real life could pass, but on screen couldn't pass. None of the agents would send actors in '96 when I first started crewing up. And then in '98 I got flooded with girls, and none of them had any idea what it was to be a boy. So there was a certain physical type that I was looking for.
But did Hilary have any idea what it was to be a boy?
She had Brandon's spirit inside of her.
Yeah.
She must have, because, you know, and she had the great physical traits, you know, that I hadn't seen in anybody else, and the smile.
But the great physical traits are what?
Boy jaw, boy ears, boy eyes, boy forehead.
Yeah.
She's got a beautiful, strong look at that face, is strong.
So
Yeah.
you knew that it could pass on screen.
I kind of knew because she came in with a cowboy hat on. And,
it's a very fascinating story how it all came about.
What's the story?
I went in. I mean, you have to go in character. You know, it's their first impression. I can't go in being a girl with my long hair that was down to here and say, you know, I can really be a boy. I promise. Wink, wink. You know, girly.
Yes,
so
which I saw.
Yeah.
With other girls.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So I wore my husband's clothes. I'm married. I wore my husband's clothes. I strapped and packed. That's what I call it, strapping my breast and putting a sock in my pants. I had long hair, like I said, and I bought a cowboy hat at a secondhand store for $1, tucked all my hair up in it. I was just scratching the surface of what I wanted to do if I got the role to play Brandon, because obviously I wasn't going to be able to do all that work just for an audition. But the voice, you know, I tried to use the voice that I eventually ended up using, but I mean, I obviously worked on it a lot more once I got the role. But, you know, using a lower register, using an accent.
Roll tape. Here is a scene in which Lana tells Brandon, the character, that she had a dream about him. Here it is.
I see a movie that I'm very proud of. I think we definitely captured everything that I was looking to capture in the movie. I think the performances all across the board were absolutely amazing. I think the cinematography is beautiful. I think it's an amazing, amazing directorial debut for Kim. I can't believe it's her first movie. I'm really proud of it. I'm really, really proud of this movie.
And it does for you? I mean, it obviously brings attention to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely changed things in my career. I'm definitely getting a newfound respect, which is really humbling and makes me feel really good.
Thank you both for coming. It opened in limited release on October 23rd. It goes, as they say, wide on November 12th. Is that
Yeah.
As far as you know, that's correct.
As far as I know, as they figure it out.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You know, this has been how many years, a labor of love for you?
5.5 years.
5.5, and you spent what?
A year. Yeah, it's been a year. Now we were filming. Yeah, a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you love films, you will love not only the story, but the story behind the story and the making of film and the film itself. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time.